This is Vanessa Howie. This is the second in the installment series, or in the tubing series. The exercises that I am doing are from this ProSource guide here. If you want to know more about the weights and the tubing that I'll be using, you can refer to the previous video that I will be posting. First, I want to show you my credentials. I'm a personal trainer through ISSA, International Sports Science Association, and through ACE, American Council on Exercise. You're welcome to check both of those out if you'd like. The tubing I used in the last video is a medium tubing. This, the red one, which is mentioned in the book, and I mentioned that in the previous video. Now, I'll be using the medium tubing a little bit in this video, but I'll be primarily using the light tubing, or the extra light, which is the yellow tubing here. So I want to get right into it. The exercises I did in the previous video worked large muscles, the lower body and part of the upper body where the muscles are bigger, like the butt, the quadricep, the back of the thigh, and a little bit of the abdominals, but that's more for stabilization, and a little bit of the chest as well. On this video, it's going to be focusing more on the shoulders, some of the back, and the trunk, or the abdominals. And there's going to be some of the latissimus dorsi muscles that are being used here. Now, like I said, the previous video was focusing on larger muscle groups. This one will be focusing on smaller muscle groups. And I didn't plan it that way. That's just how they had it laid out in the booklet. So, just letting you know. The first exercise, they call it lateral rows, but I think of it more as a lateral raise. Because every time I think of rowing, I think of rowing, or doing this motion here on a rowing machine. But they have it going out to the side. I'm like, okay, all right. So, I'm going to call it a lateral raise. Having one foot in makes it easier to do this move. I'm preferring to do it with one foot in. If you want to make it more difficult without increasing the resistance of the tubing, put both feet in. It's more difficult for me to do it that way. And if you're having a hard time even with one foot in the light tubing, but you don't want to go to the extra light, do one arm at a time. So what you do is you release some of the tension from one side and do the other side. And then switch. Doing that. That is the lateral raise, even though the booklet says lateral rows. Okay? Just letting you know. An exercise called rowboat. Now that one I would believe, because it looks like it would be a rowing type motion. Okay. Make sure that okay, alright. Took a look at it and I was like, that didn't look right at first, and now I'm like, okay, I got it. Okay. Tubing around the arch of the feet. Slight bend in the knees. So you don't really want it here, you want this. So, starting out with a bend in the biceps, bend in the elbows. You're going to push your hands back like this, and then forward. Back, and forward. So this is working the biceps and the triceps, in addition to some of the shoulders. And this also works some of the latissimus. I feel a small amount of the latissimus being worked in there. It'll be worked more in a later exercise. But that is the rowboat, as they call it. Okay. Bow and arrow. This is one that those that are archers, or archery, will have a really grasp knack of. Okay, so I'm going to do it where the tubing is here, wrapping that around, I'm wrapping it around so that when I lay my palms down or my hands down, it's straight like that. But I'm going to turn it where it's like this. It's doing this motion here. Back it up. There we go. Now I'm going to wrap that around. There we go. And what I did is I took the tubing and I wrapped it behind, like that, and behind, so that it wasn't rubbing up against either pinky. Now, I'm going to swing my arms around in front of me and switch to the other side. Pull, pull. Now notice with this backhand, I'm not curling it under like that. There's a slight tendency to do that, but I just don't want you to curl it all the way under. Okay, that worked the arms and the shoulders. The next one is called the shoulder pinch. And this one I probably can do with this tubing. I'm not going to worry too much with the extra light tubing on this one. But there's another way to do this one, and I'm actually going to do this standing before I lay down and do it that way. So what you do, tubing like this, loop it in the hands, actually loop it in the hands that way, and loop it in the hands, so that tubing is straight across like this, okay? I'm going to give a little bit of slack. And the reason I'm giving a little bit of slack is because I want to work the small muscles in here, okay? I don't want to work the big muscles down here. You have it at chest level. Pull the shirt down. At chest level, so you know none of this and none of this up here, especially not up there. Pull out to the side. And yes, I'm letting it roll on my chest. That's fine. Side view. Okay, now, what they're talking about, I'm going to lie down. My chest is going to be laying on the tubing. You want your face to be almost into the floor. Arms are almost entirely straight out to the side. There's a slight bend in my elbow. Bending my elbows to push myself up. Okay. 3 more exercises. Okay. This one I'm going to try to do with the light. I may have to go to extra light. And with this one you can do doing 1 foot in. When you do it, it's going to be a lot easier when you first start out if you give one end more slack, more tubing, than you give the other. So, what you do, start it here, and then work to hinge towards the opposite side. It's one they call a shoulder raise side bend. But if you want to work the core, the sides of the waist, without having to bring the arm all the way up, I'll show you another exercise as soon as I get done with the other side. Put in the other one. Okay. And that's another reason that I don't like to use up and over on this, is because with the tubing, it can quite easily come up and snap like that. So, what I like to do to work the core in a standing position, I'll step in it with my feet, and I have a little bit of resistance even with the feet standing in it like this. Hands through the loops, through the handles. And this one, I call standing pendulum. And this is also on another resistance tubing video that I did way back when I was facing the opposite wall there. Or let me rephrase that, when the camera was facing the opposite wall. It works the sides of the waist here. Okay? Okay. Now with a push-up, it's going to be a little easier to do. So first of all, you're going to go down to your knees. And as I mentioned in the previous video, the way that you put this around the back would be having the handles like this and putting it around you the way that you would put on a coat. Now I'm going to place the tubing in my hands. How does she? I know how I want to do it. Okay, alright, she doesn't worry about having this tubing, the handles in her hands at all. Okay, so, tubing like this, have the tubing in the back along the bra line, the bra strap. So, tubing in hands, down to either your hands and knees, in the intermediate position, or in this advanced position. Okay? Chest is going to be between the hands. Down and up. Now I don't have a massive amount of resistance on this. I put my hands in the wrong space. Sorry. Let's try this again. Okay. Now, because I kept thinking it was going to roll down on me when it wasn't. There we go. Much better. And so for intermediate, walk yourself out. And for advanced, you'd walk yourself all the way out, just making sure that the hands are in line with the chest the whole time. It's okay if the tubing decides to roll down. Those of us that have a V taper in their torso, naturally, the tubing is going to take the path of least resistance. So don't freak out if it keeps rolling down on you. Just keep adjusting it and move on. On this next one, I'm going to do the medium tubing. Trunk twist. Now, this one I really happen to enjoy. And so I'm not going to be changing this one really. I'll show you from a side angle here. So, sitting up tall, slight bend in the knee. Now you can have it straight, that's fine. Those of us that have back issues, slight bend is perfect. Just enough to keep the stress off the low back. Both hands in both handles, so cup it tight. Twist, twist. When you twist the torso, take the handles with you. It's like they're glued into your body, and you cannot leave without them. Okay, and there you have it. All the exercises that are in this little ProSource exercise guide. I'm not affiliated with the company at all. Just letting you know that right now. I bought their product. I think it is highly useful. And the exercise guide that they use, it's helpful for certain situations, But in order to get the most out of the product, I like to really experiment with the entire, all the different resistances that they have, so that it's easier for someone that doesn't know it. I can relate it easier to that person if I have played with it enough to know that there are multiple variants, different ways that you can use the product than just the guide has it stated. Now, the guide has it stated in a very nice way. I'm sure that there are a lot of people that just use the guide, no problem there. I'm not dogging anything in that area, not at all. I just know that there are multiple uses other than what the guide has stated, and I like to share those. That's it. If you enjoyed this video, you're welcome to click the like button. You're welcome to leave comments, questions, what have you. Find me on Facebook if you want. Leave me a question there. Send me a private message if you want. I have no problem with that. Subscribe if you really enjoy these videos and you want me to make more of them. I hope you enjoy your day. Thanks. Bye.